Hey, episode 79 of the Nashville Artist podcast is now out, featuring Nickname Jos. Jos is an inquisitive, experimental pop artist, producer, writer, multi-instrumentalist, and meditative Fortnite player. Listen as Jos shares his artistic approach, collaborations with other artists, and his relentless pursuit of creativity in all aspects of life. Jos discusses the challenges artists face when entrusting their work to others and allowing external influences to shape their creations. He offers valuable advice for fellow artists, emphasizing the importance of embracing the uniqueness of your own path and refraining from comparing yourself to others. In addition to his musical endeavors, Jos finds balance through activities like weightlifting, tennis, and walking. He cherishes the Blue Room as his favorite venue and delights in local eateries like Mitchell's Deli, Nomzilla, Redheaded Stranger, and Beehive. His movie influences include Hereditary, Martyrs, Interstellar, and Inland Empire, while his musical tastes encompass the 1975 Dijon, Mk.gee, Iver, Big Thief, Billy, and Disappearing Teeth Trick. Enjoy the podcast episode.
I got Mitchell Delicatessen, the best place.
What did you get at Mitchell's?
I got a sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit.
Oh man,
It was so good. I got a little drip coffee, and then I was waiting for. I went home and I was waiting for Fortnite to update because there's like a brand new season, and I hadn't gotten into Fortnite until probably a couple months ago.
Oh really?
Because I was kind of against it in high school when it was really big. Because I guess it came out 2017, 2018. It got big for the Battle Royale thing, but I was kind of adverse to it, and I was doing too much school stuff, and I was I didn't like the building in the game, and I thought it was kind of cheesy, and I played a game. I won my first game that I ever played, and then I vowed to never play it again, and never play it again, and because I knew that it was just a fluke. I think they have some sort of thing that it's they put a ton of bots in your first game because it's match-based skill making or whatever, or skill-based matchmaking. Sorry,
so they try to boost your confidence.
Yeah, they try to boost your confidence, and it boosted mine into not playing it. And then my roommate Chris, he also didn't play it in college or high school at all either, and just got into it because of a couple of our friends play. And now I've been obsessed, and it's my wind up / wind down thing. It's I'll play in the morning if I can, get the brain flowing, and then I'll go do my thing and have a session or whatever. And then, at the end of the night, I'll get back from the session or be done, and I'm not making anything else, and I'll have a beer and play Fortnite, and it's the best. And I'll play a couple of games, and by that time, I'm just ready to go to bed because the games kind of take long. But
yeah, if you stick around,
if you're good enough, the games are going to be 20, 25 minutes, which is a long time to be in a battle royale, but just an RPG game. All in all, that's not a story game,
right?
Like Assassin's Creed, like you were talking about before.
Yeah,
that's more story driven,
right?
Or Red Dead,
right.
Or GTA or whatever. Those feel more story driven, but like in like Fortnite or like PUBG, you're just like going at it and you're like so on edge for 25 minutes. But I kind of like having the nerves and all that. I think it's so fun, and it's funny. Like we were just talking about Liam Archie Summers, and he doesn't play, but whenever he comes over for sessions, if we get tired of playing like 2K, he'll be like, "You can play Fortnite. I love to watch Fortnite," and I'm like, "Yes," because I feel the same way. Like I will watch someone play Fortnite. I've like been guilty of like getting on TikTok and then like accidentally watching a live stream for like 30 minutes of someone playing Fortnite for no reason. I'm like, just because I think the game is so fascinating. But yeah, that's what I did this morning. But the servers are down, and it'll take 8 hours for it to.
Why are the servers down?
Because it's a new season, and it's like all these new updates, and everybody's trying to play, and I don't think they have enough capacity to support it yet, or whatever. But I think they're fixing like bugs and all that stuff, because some people have played it, but like I've only found like a couple people, and they seem like testers too, like people who are like in on it, like in on Fortnite, like betas or whatever. But seems cool. I'm gonna hopefully later tonight it'll be up so I can play.
Yeah,
dude.
Have you ever played Apex Legends?
No, I've been interested. I've heard people talk about it. I don't know what it is really.
It's the same thing as Fortnite, except no building.
Yeah, I hate building. I play zero build.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think building is so cheeks. It's just like cheesy and not fun, because it's like you can just build your way out of a problem.
Yeah.
Especially if you have a ton of mats and all that. Like you can just keep on going and like I don't know, I see people building all the way up to the top of the skyline, and it's like I've seen people like build like it's also just like zero gravity building. You can build sideways all the way up in the air. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you can build your own planks down.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. So you can be like pretty much floating, but yeah, not my preferred way of playing. But maybe I'll get into Apex.
Nice.
Yeah, dude.
Cool. We'll get started here. Hey everyone, welcome to the Nashville Artist. I'm Jordan, and today Nickname Jos is here.
What's up, y'all?
Thanks for coming over and doing this.
Yeah, of course, man.
So, where are you from?
I'm from Richmond, Virginia, but kind of like right outside. I grew up in Midlothian, Virginia. Your classic suburb outside of Richmond, but like not too far, like 25 minutes out, which is really nice and very chill. Virginia's like Tennessee too. It's like I feel like Virginia, North Carolina, and Tennessee are all the same thing.
Really?
To some degree. Like, that's why I came to Tennessee, honestly, besides music, but it's just like the same thing as Virginia, and it's a different place. And there's more music, so.
Nice. Do you have any siblings?
Yeah, I have a twin sister who just got a teaching job. We're both 23. And she lives in Charlottesville, Virginia, getting her master's, which is crazy. Not what I'm doing, but... And then I have two other older siblings who are my half-siblings. Their names are Jason and Mandy, and they're awesome. They're like way older than I am. They're my dad's first marriage. And yeah, they're like 43.
Oh wow,
which is awesome.
Way older.
I know. Like my older sister, like when me and my twin were growing up, I think she was 18 when we were babies, 18 or 19, and like she would like babysit us, and like people in the neighborhood would like come up to her and be like, "Oh, your children are so cute," and she was like, "Hell no, these are not my kids." This is actually my younger siblings.
Are they into art and music?
Yes, as like consumers, I would say. I mean, I have a pretty musical family, but they're not like they're all like hobby musicians. Like my dad plays guitar, can play piano, has a beautiful voice, but is more so just like a hobby musician. And then my mom can play piano really well and is just like very good at sight reading. And but and then my sister, my twin sister, sings as well. So I guess we're probably the most musical people right now. So it's pretty nice. And yeah, my two older siblings don't do
Nice.
music, but they love it. So, and they think it's cool that I do it too. So,
Awesome. So what were you like as a little kid? What were you into as a little kid?
I was super into Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
I love Spider-Man, like all of the Tobey Maguire ones though. That was my thing. Oh, and now as I'm looking at it, there's a Spider-Man.
Oh yeah,
Holy crap!
Yeah.
That's fucking sweet.
the popcorn bucket.
Dude, yeah, I need to get that. But yeah, I love Spider-Man growing up. Only the Tobey Maguire ones. Not that I don't like Andrew Garfield, but Andrew Garfield ones kind of came out as I was like getting out of Spider-Man and superhero stuff, and I didn't really like him that much, but he's still great. But Tom Holland rocks as well. But Tobey Maguire is like forever my Spider-Man. Even though it's like Tom Holland kind of has he's young enough to do it, but he's not nerdy enough. Tom Holland's too hot to do it. Andrew Garfield is too hot to be Spider-Man. Just like what is the word, canonically? Like just in the canon of Marvel. Like I don't know. It's like I feel like Tobey Maguire is like
perfect.
He like looks like a nerd in the movies, and I think it's perfect. Especially like the scene in the first one after he gets bitten by a spider and he's like bulked up.
Yeah,
it's just like it looks like he'd been like at the gym for like 6 months straight, like after being so scrawny. But he like still has his glasses. Well, doesn't he have his glasses on? Looks in the mirror and
it's blurry to put them on.
Yeah, and then he takes them off. I don't know. I love those movies, and I loved all the villains, and like I loved Venom. I thought Venom was awesome. And me and my best friend were like obsessed with like Venom and Carnage, and like I don't know, like they were all just so good. Like Sandman, Green Goblin, Doc Ock.
Green Goblin, and Willem Dafoe is so good as the Green Goblin.
Dude, yeah, he's so good, and it's also kind of a creepy movie for like a kid.
It is.
Like, especially because it's like Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin is like this like it's like a personality disorder in the movie. It's like really crazy and kind of scary, but I loved him. I liked some sports growing up. I was an athlete, maybe kind of the same. I mean, I feel like I'm pretty athletic, but played ice hockey for about 7 years, I think. And like traveled and played like double A and all that, and that was super fun. Never got super good at it, but had a ton of fun. And like I think getting to like a junior in high school when I stopped playing, I was like, I need to stop playing because I realized I was like way better at music than I was at hockey. And like honestly, like if you play ice hockey, you have to be like, there are kids in the league right now who are like 18 or 19. And if you're not like close to being that good at 16, then you don't really have a hope. Not that you can't come in late or anything, but
there's just so many skills to acquire.
There's so many, and it's really like such a grind of like you just have to be the person who like wants to work out all the time, wants to always be like focused on playing. Like you have to get ice time all the time. You got to be shooting all the time. You got to be like doing weight training, and I think, especially at that age, I was like, I just want to hang out with my friends. Like,
Right.
I enjoyed going on trips and playing games and being competitive and being small and fast and all that. Like, I think when I played, I was probably like 5'6", 5'7", or something like that. I was not very tall at all. I was pretty. I mean, I'm 5'10" now, but at the time I was like kind of small and like super fast, and it was really fun. But I liked it for the friends that I made and getting to travel and do like tournaments, and like we'd like play knee hockey in the like hotel hallways and all that, and we'd bring like our 360 and play like NHL like 12 and 13 and all that. So that was fun. But yeah, pretty much just as a kid, I liked superheroes until a certain age. Loved Spider-Man. Loved playing ice hockey. Uh, that's pretty much it. I feel like I was outside a lot. Used my imagination a lot. I don't know. I just kind of miss being a kid sometimes.
Right.
But it was fun. I feel like I got to do a lot of cool things. I got to go on a couple cruises when I was a kid. Like, not with my family, but one of my best friends, his family went on a cruise every single summer, and I got to go a couple years in a row. And it was so much fun because they let him bring a friend, and it was so fun. And it was like right around the time that I like started to like work out, or like thought like if I just like worked out like for a summer that I could get like ripped. Like, so we would go to the gym like on the cruise ship, and we'd be like, yeah, one of the girls gonna come by. Like, you know, like we gotta go to these like kids clubs and like pick up some girls.
Kids clubs,
like,
yeah, dude.
you know, or like what are like the teen clubs or
the teen clubs.
whatever. Like when you're like 13, and then I realized that you can't really get shredded in like a matter of like a couple months in the summer. It is more so like a lifestyle thing.
Consistency,
Yeah, I mean that's what I've learned recently.
The teen clubs, dude. Yeah, I went on a carnival cruise in high school, and I remember the exact same thing: going to the gym and then like going to the clubs.
Yeah,
like my parents would go to the older.
Yeah. I like parents would always like they could go have a drink at a bar there, and they're like, I mean, I would get like we'd all have dinner every single night on the cruise, like on every night of the week, and then we'd be like, all right, we're gonna go do our thing. And they're like, all right, we'll see you tomorrow morning for breakfast. Oh, and then we would just roam free.
Roam the ship.
I know, roam the ship. That's one thing I wish I did. I wish I did some more trespassing. On like a cruise ship. That would be fun. I'm thinking of like, I watched this movie a couple weeks ago called Triangle of Sadness.
Oh yeah, Triangle of Sadness.
Which was like, I don't know, play on like kind of like a satire of the rich and all of that. And I don't know, it made me think about cruise ships, and because you got to kind of like be into like the crew in that movie and see what it's like on a ship. And I was like thinking back to the Royal Caribbean cruises that I was on. Like, why? Like, when you're 13, you can get away with anything. Why don't you just like try to like sneak your way into a place and then just get kicked out because you're like a kid,
right?
But
yeah, I remember you could order as much food as you wanted to.
Yeah,
and I would get it sent to the room, and then one time I fell asleep. My dad answered the door and was like, "Jordan, what is all this?" And I carted in like all this food that I had ordered.
No way.
And I fell asleep, and he's like, "Jordan, why did you order all this?"
That's so
but
funny.
I was like, "Dad, it's free."
Dad, it's free. It's literally free.
What originally got you into art and music?
I started to play. Well, actually, what got me into music in general is I didn't know that I had a musical bone in my body until I watched. This is such a funny story. I watched Pirates of the Caribbean, and I loved the theme song Like, I loved it so much, and I don't know how I was allowed to watch it. Those are like PG-13 movies. My dad just like enabled me as like a 3-year-old to watch it, and I remember it, and I was obsessed with the movies, like obsessed with Jack Sparrow, pirates that were pillaging and attacking each other, and it was so violent and so awesome, and that theme song like resonated with me, and I like uh fiddled my way over to the piano that we had in our living room and like picked out the theme song by ear, and my parents were like, "We got to get you in piano lessons," and I was like, "No, I'm not doing that. I can't do it." And after a little bit of deliberation, they got me into piano lessons, and that's where I started playing, and I just like learned theory and how to play piano. And meanwhile doing that, I kind of figured out that I liked rock music, and I got super into Green Day, and Trey Cool as a drummer, and I don't know, Green Day and Trey Cool is like the reason why I started playing like drums, which is like a funny thing to look back on. Uh, because I remember listening to Dookie, that 1994 record. I think it was their sophomore record, or it was their first big commercial success after Kerplunk. But I'm deep in the Green Day lore right now. But Dookie is such a good record. Had like Basket Case on it, When I Come Around, Long View, Burnout, Having a Blast, like all those sick songs. And I remember listening to it so much, and I got it on CD, and I got a couple of other records by them on CD. Just learned all the songs like in my head. Didn't even have like a drum kit. I ended up getting a drum kit when I was like 8, maybe 8 or 9. I got like this junior kit. You know those like really shitty kits with like they look kind of like plastic. They're real drums, but they just look bad, and the cymbals are like you can bend them and all that, and they sound terrible. I wish I would have kept some of them because I definitely could have made it into something cool now. But I got one of those kits, and I could do everything with my hands. Had no right foot coordination, and I couldn't get it down, and I quit for like a year or two. And then I came back to it, and I don't remember, but I think I just sat down one day and just tried to tap out like with my right foot. Just tried to like get my brain to do it, and then I kept on building on it, and then like now I don't know what it feels like to like not know how to play a kick drum with your feet or with your hands at the same time, but that's kind of what catapulted me into like really like finding other music, from like finding Green Day and then listening to the radio and like listening to like like pop radio and like VH1 and like watching MTV and like watching music videos that they put. Like I don't know, like that's the thing that I'm very like grateful for, is that I grew up in the time, I guess we both did, where like I was finding new songs on like MTV, like VH1, and I really enjoyed that. Like I don't know, I would sneak into my dad's office and throw on VH1, and watch all these music videos. Like, or like, I don't know, what's the other channel? I think BET had some rap videos or whatever. There's another channel that had it, but I just watch all these music videos of like Eminem, or like I don't even like Eminem, but I just remember seeing crazy music videos, and like that kind of opened my eyes up about like what pop music was. And then I got an iPod Nano, I think. And I found some more music, like listen to Linkin Park. Oh, dude! Also another thing, Guitar Hero.
Oh yeah,
that's what got me into a ton of music. That's how I learned about classic rock and everything rock or metal or blues based started, which is so funny. It was either like my dad playing old records, or like my own self discovery was just Guitar Hero. And like I remember like I'd be talking to my dad's coworkers, and about music and all that when I was like 10. They'd be like,
You know,
how the fuck do you know who like Steely Dan is? Like, that makes no sense. Like, I don't know. I like was super into what my dad listened to, and I mean, as all parents hope that they're a good enough like figure that their kids like what they like. But I loved what my dad and my mom listened to. Loved Guitar Hero. Got an iPod Touch later, and that was when I could start browsing the internet a little bit more, but like on my own device, you know,
right?
a little more like privacy, I guess. And I found like 21 Pilots. I thought that like I used to think they were so awesome, and they honestly still have a good amount of touch in the game right now. And I don't know, they're one of those bands that I don't really like, I'm not really into anymore, but I have this like insane respect for. I heard like Jack Antonoff in an interview the other day of like talking to Zane Lowe about like how he wants like the next Bleachers album to go over, like where does it, like where do you want this Bleachers album to sit in my vinyl collection and all that? And he was like, I want you to throw it on when you're happy, like beginning of a day or like on a drive or whatever. And he was talking about how he hopes that people stick with Bleachers in this way of like maybe they identified with the first two records and the third record they didn't like, and then the fourth record they liked, and then the fifth record they really hated, and then sixth record, but they're still in it, you know? They have an opinion and they, I don't know, like respect the artist. But that's how I found 21 Pilots. And oh dude, my first show that I ever went to, I was 12, 2013. I'm an '01 baby. The National in Richmond, Virginia. I saw the 1975 open up for 21 Pilots. uh, and it was their first, 1975's first North American support tour,
Oh wow.
if I'm not mistaken. And they were like babies. They were probably like 23. Probably like, they're probably 10 years older than I am right now. But oh my gosh, it was so crazy. And I fell in love with them and their music, and then their music turned me on to other things. And like, I don't know, got into jazz in high school. Yeah.
Did you play music in school?
Yeah, I played a lot of music in school. Like I was in like band and all that. Nice voice crack right there. I was in band and like concert band and jazz band and all that. And that was really fun. And like, I don't know, that's how like I learned how to be like a tactile player and not like a loud player. You know, that's like such a hard thing for like developing drummers to realize, is like sometimes you have to play quiet, and I didn't want to do that. I wanted to play rock music. And then I joined band, and my band director was like everything you're playing is incredible. You're an incredible player. Just play softer. And I was like, no, I don't want to. And then I finally realized that I had to if I wanted to keep playing. But yeah, band was awesome. Played in like pep band, played at like basketball and football games, and uh, made a lot of friends that way. And I don't know, I just learned how to be like a musician at that point and play with other people, and started playing with my friends in high school in this band called Twin Films, and they're still a band today. I left for Nashville in college, and they stayed in Virginia to go to William and Mary, but they're a duo. It's like my two best friends from home. They make music kind of like The Garden. I don't know. They have crazy influences. It's just like they're all over the board, but they make some very weird independent music that I really love. And I played with them in high school, when it was more of like a rock band. It was like an indie rock band, like synth pop. And now it's just like their shows are crazy. It's like a drummer, like sometimes they play bass and guitar, but it's mainly just like a drummer, some tracks, and then both of them with a mic just running around stage. It's awesome.
Wow.
And I haven't caught a show like in years, which stinks, but yeah,
So
they're the shit.
drumming is your main.
Drumming is my main thing. Yeah, I play drums in that band. I guess I played piano first, but I'm just better at drums, I guess.
What all instruments do you play?
I play everything except for like brass instruments or any woodwinds. I can't really play that. I don't know if you consider harmonica a woodwind. No, it's not.
But
well, maybe.
Drumming is your main instrument.
Drumming is my main thing. And yeah, I can play pretty much whatever. Picked up guitar. I took like 2 lessons when I was like 12. Hated taking lessons, and then I stopped. And then I just taught myself how to play a little bit from YouTube and Marty Schwartz guitar tutorial videos. Shout out Marty Schwartz. I think so many people learn guitar that way. But then I learned bass kind of in the same way. And I don't know, just bought like shitty guitars and shitty basses and learned on them and borrowed my friends and all that. And like I didn't really play guitar really until college, because I had so many friends who were good at it.
Where did you go to college?
Went to Belmont for a couple years.
Yeah.
Classic Belmont. But yeah.
Sweet. So why would you say you're drawn to art and music?
I feel like I'm drawn to it. I was just having this conversation with a couple friends a couple nights ago about I'm a very like curious person, you know? Like I think I always loved music and I didn't know why. You know, it always felt like some sort of monumental like spiritual thing that like I don't even know if I felt as spiritual with anything else, like besides like art in general. Like can make you feel like the second I realized that like, music can make you cry or make you so happy, I was like so curious of like how does that work? Why does that happen? And then I started playing and playing more and started writing like in college and like when I came to Belmont when I was 18. And I don't know, like I think I just have this fascination for it, and it's like an ever evolving puzzle, and it's like my outlet, you know. I'm sure you relate playing drums, like you get done with work and you're like, oh, now I can just sit and play drums, and it's kind of like this like form of speech almost, you know? Like you can express things with music that you cannot express with words, and I'm not saying anything monumental here, you know, but like it's just how like everybody feels who is really drawn to music. They feel like they can, or even if people write, they can feel like they can write something with music that feels, or maybe write poems or something like that of like something that they want to tackle in their life, but they can make an analogy for it or a metaphor or tell a story, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like I've always been into art, like stories and books and movies. That's art. Like it's the entertainment industry is like a business, you know? Like but it's all just art, you know? I think like I'm always interested in visual art because like I'm not very good at visual art. I used to draw a lot, but I don't know. It's so interesting that you can create this whole story that touches someone, and in the same way you can do that with music, you can do that with playing an instrument. Like I don't know, you could there's a certain reason why, like, Michael Jackson makes you feel a certain way versus, like, I don't know, Bon Iver or something like that, you know? And they can maybe get across the same thing, but everybody does it differently. I think that's why I'm also curious about it. Just like there's no like real explanation, I guess. Like because everybody does it differently, whether you know how to play it, like if you know theory or not, you know, you don't need to. Like so many great writers don't know anything about how to play their guitar, but they play their guitar, you know? Like and I don't think I'm a great guitarist or bass player or whatever, but I play it my way. I don't think I'm the best drummer ever, but I think I play it my way, you know?
Yeah.
And the way that expresses my intention, you know? And like, I think I've just been so curious about music and why it makes me feel the way it makes me feel, why I'm like so drawn to it. Like, art is just this thing that I'm always thinking about. Like, I'm not, I mean, art is even video games, you know?
Yeah.
That's just how it is. Like, I'm always craving some sort of like art. And I think that's the curious side of me trying to like poke its little head out since I was like a kid of just like, I don't know, playing outside with your friends and like dreaming of this imaginary world that is also art, you know? Like so many kids are, I think everybody's very, very creative. Just have their different ways, you know? And uh, I don't know. That's why I like, will work all day on music, have a super long session for an artist or myself, and then I'll get out of it and I'll even go listen to more music, or I'll go play video games, or I'll go watch a movie, you know, or read a book. I still need to read more books, but you know, it's just like so fascinating, and I don't know, there's a purpose for everything. So,
Yeah. Who are your like favorite artists of all time?
all time, I have to say like your classic 1975, as we talked about before, like they kind of helped sweep me off my feet when I was like 12 of like, oh, this style is cool. I had never really listened to anything British besides the Beatles before, you know? I like realized that you like there are amazing bands that make this like I don't know, 1975 had a certain sound that people in Manchester were making, and like I don't know, I love Dijon a lot, love Mk.gee, that whole world is great. I love Bon Iver. Um I don't know, some of my favorite like artists are my friends too, you know? Like that's why I love community here and just like the creative community in general. Like I don't know, I'm inspired by my friends constantly, and they're playing like I don't know, like my one of my best friends, Billy, just a great guitarist. You can feel like every note that he plays, and like my friend Chris, my roommate, plays in this band called Disappearing Teeth Trick.
Oh yeah.
And they're so good, and like Chris, Levi, and Ian are just like nuts. They're like great players, and they have such a cool feeling and all that. And I wonder who else I'm like really digging right now. Let me pull my phone just really, really quick. Uh oh, duh. Big Thief.
Big Thief.
Big Thief is a huge one. Of course, like Adrian Lanker. But Big Thief is an incredible artist. I don't know. I just love finding music. I'm not like big into like really being like what are my main inspirations, but like because I feel like I really like pull from everything, and like I have a ton of favorite artists, and from like big and small. Like right now, I'm like into like Bruce Hornsby and like Bruce Springsteen and like the Blue Nile and all that. Like some older '80s stuff that I hadn't really jumped into. Like it's crazy that I'm saying like, oh, I haven't jumped into Bruce Springsteen, but I didn't really listen to stuff besides I'm on Fire, Born in the USA, or all the hits or whatever.
Dancing in the Dark.
Dancing in the Dark, yeah. But there is so many great records, and Bruce Hornsby and the Range are so awesome as well. Into this artist right now called ML Butch. I think she's Scandinavian or something like that. She's of some sort of different culture, but she's very, very awesome. It's like synth heavy music, and yeah, I just really love it. I feel like I pull from a lot of stuff, and I'm always into finding new stuff. I feel like I'm not always like, I have my things that I come back to, like Mk.gee or Dijon or Bon Iver. That's just like my thing that I like always pull back around to. Big Thief, I always come back to. 1975, I always come back to. Pine Grove, I always come back to. Like, those are probably my top bands. I feel like those
Sweet.
are, or artists or whatever. I feel like like, been super into Ryan Beatty right now. Just saw him in Nashville a couple weeks ago, and he's fantastic and incredible songwriter, incredible voice. And Ethan Gruska, who did his record, is incredible. I feel like I could talk about artists and all that all day, you know? But those are kind of the people who are like really pushing me forward, you know?
Cool. How do you develop your artistic skills? Do you have routines, or like how do you go about getting better?
I don't know, like how I develop. I used to practice drums a lot. I used to practice instruments a lot. Now I just make sure that I'm digesting enough art, like, and letting there be reins for curiosity, like I was talking about before, and like making sure that I'm doing other things besides me making music that can pique my brain. Like, I don't know, my dad always like said, like, go outside and do some physical labor and you'll come back different, thinking about something else, you know, like, or just taking breaks. I think that's the most important thing for me right now. Like, currently in between like moving my studio around and not really working on anything right now until next week, and just had like, and I just went out of town this past weekend, and like I've had a lot of time to just like sit and struggle with being bored, which is like a interesting thing because I worked like I produce full time now, and I worked like 24, 25 days out of 29 in February. And then I have had a break for past week or so, and breaks are definitely important. To not get too burnt. I don't know. I think a big part of my artistic routine are things that aren't art. Like, I like got into like working out over the summer. Like, I started lifting again for the first time since like high school. Like, I guess in like July or August of last year, and exercise has been like a huge thing for me. Like, I played tennis with my girlfriend. She taught me how to play, and like there's just so many other things to do in life that, I don't know, you take an hour to work out or be outside and play a sport, and then you get back and you're like, okay, now we can see it from a different perspective, or like, I don't know, being outside, super helpful. I need to do more. I just need to be outside more, like take more walks and all that. And yeah, I just think working out's definitely helped me out a ton, and making sure I sustain relationships and friendships is a huge one too, and that I'm listening to other people like more than I mean, it's important to listen to yourself, what your body needs and all that, but sometimes you like need to take yourself out of the equation, you know, and just like listen to other people. And yeah, I don't know. Just think that you gotta spend some time with other people and ask people about what they're going through, because like you don't always have to write or be inspired by something that you're just like pulling out of your ass, you know, like, or that's something that's in your life. Like, I don't know, I've been inspired by like how some of my friends live and like what they do to like better their own lives. And like, I don't know, I have a friend of mine who's moving to Alaska for the summer to work there and to take a break from Nashville and to have a new surrounding. And like, she's so stoked for it, and like stuff like that is super inspiring to me. Even though she's doing it on a big scale, I feel like that inspires me to take little steps of like maybe no music today and go outside, or like throw a frisbee with a friend, or maybe cook 3 good home meals and don't go out to eat, or don't get fast food or something like that, or do something that I don't normally do. You know, like, it's funny. I mean, we're on a podcast right now, but I've been listening to a ton of podcasts, and even just like funny shit too. Like, I listened to this podcast called Podcast About List, where these dudes just riff, and they're all comedians anyway. They live in New York, but they just riff for like 30 minutes and then just talk about their lives, or just try to make each other laugh, and then they go through a huge list, like the back half of the episode, and it's like, I don't know, like just stupid stuff about like what not to say on an airplane, or like I don't know, like they did this one for Christmas that was like mythological adventures of Christmas, and it was like they all made a PowerPoint about funny things that they could find. And there was one that like about Santa Claus, and how Santa Claus like has been around forever and can time travel. And like it's not documented, but Santa Claus was there when Jesus was born. Because apparently Santa Claus met Jesus in his old life, or like in his like late 20s, and like liked Jesus so much that he turned back time and like brought him a toy on when Jesus was born. But like, and I've been watching or listening to like the Canceled podcast with Tana Mojo. My girlfriend loves that podcast, and it's just like just nonsense. It's just girls just talking about their lives in Hollywood and all that. I just think it's so funny and super raunchy, and I don't know.
Nice.
I've just been into that.
How did your self-titled EP come about?
Ooh, that was like my first stab at like really trying to do the artist project thing. I'd released 3 singles before that were kind of like, they were my first 3 songs I ever wrote, and I was trying to figure out how to write, and I was like figuring out how to produce all at the same time. And I was like, I started production first and got super into it, and then was like, all right, I need to make a song and like sing on it or write it. I know that was the hardest part, because I could play all these instruments, and found out how to record, and then realized that I needed to like do the songwriting portion. And then like that first EP was like kind of my first exploration into doing that, and like exploring that world of what it looks like to have cool production and trying to figure out how to write songs.
What would you say like the themes or whatever you explored in that EP?
I wrote it like from like think I wrote the first song for it in March of 2020.
Oh wow.
So it was a while ago, and I guess it's like I guess I wrote the first song or not the first song on the EP, but I wrote Halcyon right when I got home. It was like probably like March 14th or something like that, and we're like nearing up on it or coming up on it right now. I like 4 years out from when I wrote the first song for that one, and I don't know. It's just kind of like your classic coming of age and dealing with emotions and trying to figure out how that works in a songwriting realm, uh, while trying to make something that sounded cool. I was trying to impress people, I guess,
Yeah.
trying to figure out how to do it and be me and all that. And like around the time of quarantine, and everybody was making music, everybody was confused and all that. And I don't know, I was super. I was just trying to figure out how to do the thing, And then I started writing songs after that. That felt a little bit more like myself, and I think I figured out how to write songs better. And like every song past that moment has been like me trying to take a stab at what I think my project's direction is going into. And I don't know if I've found it quite yet, but I feel like I'm getting there. You can hear a lot of inspirations of people that I liked from even Mk.gee back in the day when he was not popping the way he is right now, and like or like Bon Iver, or like Explosions in the Sky or stuff like that. And like I don't know, I was just trying to find my own way. Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about this earlier, but what would you say inspires your creativity?
Mm. I mean, I'd still probably say like my friends, and like I'd say my friends inspire my creativity. I would say my family does for sure. I feel like I've always just had a draw to art and or creativity in general. That like I don't know, it's just keeping up that like little kid's imaginary like island type deal. Just trying to like how to stay on it as long as possible.
Right.
And like yeah, I think my creativity has come through like the people I've surrounded myself with, and the location of where I live, and the people that I meet along the way, or like I don't know, every single time I make a new friend who like does art in some sort of capacity, I feel like I'm driven to make something. Like I feel like I make derivatives and like I'm just inspired by new people that I meet all the time and what their art sounds like. And that's why I feel like it's an ever evolving thing. I don't ever want to like box myself in too hard to what type of music I make. Just in the sense of letting it all be open, and just like yeah, like I don't know, I see like your drum journey, and what like you post on Instagram, and it's like shit, I gotta get back to playing drums. I need to go back and practice. I need to go like take some time and like have drum therapy, just like sit down and play. And so drums is great. Velocity and all that like feels so good to hit, feels so good to be soft. It feels so good to like creativity comes from a big part of like for me is like the possibility of learning, of just like curiosity about learning. There's so much stuff that I will never know. I have no clue what this book is about. The Daily Stoic. It looks like a meditation book. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, philosophy.
Philosophy. Yeah, I think like I'm just curious about how everything works. I have such a respect for even down to the nitty gritty of like, I mean, I've had a conversation like this a lot of just like everything that we are surrounded with has a purpose and was like made out of the intention of love, which I feel like creativity is a lot about. Like someone made this table so that we could put our stuff on it and eat on it and put our elbows on it. Somebody made the chairs that we're sitting in to so we don't have to stand up. You know, that's creative. You know, it's like kind of like problem solving in a way.
Yeah.
Which is
everything in this room is a problem solved.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't know, like everything has its little purpose. Like somebody made the bowl that you put your oranges in. Yeah. You know, like what would we do without it? Like you just have stuff just on the ground. Like we have a hardwood floor right here because we didn't want to be walking on mud and concrete and grass and all that. Like everything has a little purpose, and I feel like I'm so like I respect so many different types of people who like make stuff with their hands. Like that's crazy to me. Like how people make houses. Like blows my mind. I'll never be able to do it. You know, like maybe never. I mean, I don't know about never, but like I don't know, that blows my mind. You know, like people make so much stuff. I don't know how to make a lamp. Like it's so cool. Like there's just so much stuff that like it's just very, very fascinating to me. And I feel like creativity is like kind of that all-encompassing thing that drives like life in general. Like it's creative to be a politician.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, like we might not like everybody's ideas, but they're trying to figure out how to problem solve.
How do I get all these people to agree with me?
Right. No, exactly. And I think that's the hardest thing of like it's trying to eliminate the idea of hate in your brain, you know?
Right.
Of trying to I don't know, or like maybe like trying to forgive more, or I don't know, everybody's just trying to figure out how to do it and how to be good, and everybody wants to be loved. You know, everybody wants to figure out a problem. We wouldn't have anybody in office if nobody cared. Right. You know? Like there's a purpose to everything, there's creativity in everything. Literally every single thing. I don't know, however the way this planet was made, if we ever found out one day, like that is like, even if it was like a cosmic collision of sorts, which I'm agnostic, but, or, I mean, I believe in a lot of things, but, I don't know, I think that's fascinating too. Yeah. Just like a higher power has created this, and maybe if it's not, then something that our galaxy made was creative, and it was just like there, do it. Right. You know, dude, I watched Interstellar for the first time.
Oh, I still haven't seen that.
A couple weeks ago. Holy crap!
Really good,
insane movie. Like, I have to watch that like once a year now. I'm making it a thing for myself. Like, just so good, and like opens your eyes to
how big the
world is, like what purpose is, what like caring for others is. You should definitely watch it. Dude, it's like your sci-fi movie, your classic sci-fi movie, but kind of geared in like I mean, it's hard to understand, hard to wrap your head around, but like the takeaway is like intentionality and love transcends all dimensions type thing, which is pretty cool. Yeah, that's creativity to me.
I got you. So how would you best describe the type of artist you are?
That's a hard one, because I mean I could say I'm a producer. I could say I'm a musician. Like, a musical director of sorts. But like, I feel like I'm just an artist, you know, like just like fascinated by a lot of stuff. I guess like maybe the type of artist that you are might be kind of defined by what your profession is or what your specialty is, you know. But like,
what you create.
yeah, like I would love to do movie scores, you know. That might be my what I call my artistry in like 20 years, you know. Like I don't know. I think it's like an evolving thing for sure. It's definitely like some days I think that I'm a producer, and some days I'm like, oh, I'm like a songwriter, artist. Like I make music, I have my own band type thing, you know? Just like day to day, it changes for me. I think that's pretty special and fun, and would not want that any other way, I guess. Like, oh, yeah, like, same with like my genre. I don't like to hold in too much because, I mean, obviously in a profession, like,
Kind of like your what?
like, I guess like kind of like my like if you have like my genre of artistry, you know, is like I guess I would be like experimental pop or something like that because I think I make pop music or like stuff that sounds like pop music to some degree, but like I don't like to hold it in, but in the same way, like with professionality, like you have to have your one lane, like to for people to take you seriously, you know, like in the sense that when you ask me like what is my artistry, I'd probably just say that I'm a producer, writer. I have my own project that I love to do. I'm very invested in, but I also work with a ton of other people that I love to work on their music. Like, and I love to take their ideas to the finish line or as far as I can, like by myself and with them, you know? Like, but I feel like it's like a forever growing thing. And maybe it will never be just one thing, and maybe I'll learn that it needs to be only one thing. But I think like I don't know, like you build cool stuff and you play music, you know? That's just like your blanket of like artistry. I think it's cool to like build what you build and then play music in bands and like I don't know, have like a love for music and learning how to like master your instrument, you know? Like I think it's pretty open ended and I think it's something that like everybody is trying to figure out all the time. It's because I feel like with artistry, I think like what is my artistry? I also think of like I think it's as open ended as like purpose, you know,
Ever
like
evolving.
yeah, because my purpose today, you know, might be to spend time with like my girlfriend or like the people that I love and to like hang out with people and like support somebody and then my purpose tomorrow might be I don't know, like redoing my studio and like making myself feel good and then my purpose on Sunday might be like I need to go work out. Like and I feel like artistry is like kind of the same thing of like at least for me, of like how I've done my artist project is like sometimes I just like write when I can't do anything else but write. Like that's how I was in school. I'd be in physics class and like have an idea pop into my head and sorry to my parents, but I would like if I had it and it was so good, I'd grab my backpack and I'd get up and then I'd leave and go home just to be able to make something. Or if I had an idea for somebody else's song, or like maybe I'd even just go up and go to the bathroom and like just voice memo some idea and then just go back to class. But like, yeah.
When inspiration strikes, you get to capture it.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's like how I view artistry, because like, I don't know, maybe tomorrow I don't want to do any of this shit anymore. And I want to evolve my artistry by like being a carpenter.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Could very well happen. You know, I don't see myself losing the music thing, but
Good
feel
to
like,
be open.
yeah, like, I mean, I've had this conversation a ton too, like, of especially being in Nashville, like you are, surrounded by music. And my friend Rachel said the other day, like, what would you be to yourself? Would you still love yourself if you didn't do it? You know, you didn't do the art thing. If you didn't have, I mean, it goes for everybody. If you didn't, like, everybody has their thing that they feel like they're really good at. Oh, I just poked the mic. Everybody has their thing that they feel like they're really good at, that is their specialty. And what would you be like without it? Like, and finding a way to appreciate and love yourself, even if I didn't do music, which is the hard thing, because I feel like music is
a way to love yourself.
Like, yeah, it definitely, and like as a just like a byproduct of my existence. You know, I just like I've always done it, and I feel like it's something that I've always wanted to do and always will do. But it's very important to like, I don't know, whenever I come home to Virginia, like I don't bring my music stuff, and I like, even though I'll listen to music in the car when I'm there, I like need to remove myself and be like, I don't know, you don't want to get to the point of growing up and having a family and then like, man, what if your hearing goes out? Or what if you're a visual artist and you're blind now? You know? Like, do you still, like, without that, are you still very, like, accepting and loving of everything that's in your life? And I feel like that's important for me. And trying to get to that, I mean, I'm still, like, young and figuring out everything. I haven't fully matured yet, but definitely trying to keep that in my mind of, like, something could be stripped from you, like, very quickly.
Could be taken away from you.
Yeah, just as easy as you could be given it, you know? Like, I don't know, I didn't have to, I mean, I worked really hard to be good at music, but like, it came naturally to me. It was like my natural ability, you know? But like, what would I do without it? You know, you have to think about how would you live your life without the whole artistry thing, which like there's like a nice little balance that you have to have of being so confident and happy that you're an artist, and also living your life outside of artistry, you know, and just like spending time with family or friends and listening to what people say. And I don't know, just like, especially with art too, it's just like like whether you like it or not is like a big ego thing. Like, always need to check your ego, and I feel like that's a good way to do it, or is like that's like what I'm learning, you know, like you think you're the best and you think that you're so good at music and all of this, like that's great and that gets you very, very far. However,
don't let it block you from learning new things.
Yeah, exactly, and that could like make you sad in the long run. I don't know.
It can make you feel alone because you think you know everything, and who are you going to try and learn from?
Yeah, totally. Like, just trying to find that balance of appreciating the things that aren't your thing, you know?
Right. So, what would you say your strengths and weaknesses as an artist are?
I think my strengths are I'm definitely like headstrong. I feel like I always feel like I know direction of something, but maybe for better or for worse. And I think that goes for like I don't know, like, especially as an artist, like as like a solo artist, I know where I want something to end up, and it's about finding a way to get there, which is the hardest part. And I will scrap and I will scrap and I will scrap, and I will like. They always talk about like you need to let yourself write bad songs, and I have a hard time dealing with that, just because I'm like, the last song I wrote was awesome, and I really love it. It's my favorite one, and then I just like am so frozen by it, uh, and I just need to let it go, you know. And I think an old an old weakness that has now become a strength is collaboration for sure. I feel like I've gotten way better at collaboration with people, because I used to just want to do everything myself, especially if I knew how I wanted it to be. Uh, I was just like doing it myself. That's how I did like my first EP and some singles around it, and then finally reached out to some people and got some help on some other songs, and now I just like almost entirely like for my like new stuff work like in collaboration with other people and like try to like hand off my work. And that used to be my weakness, like of just like it's hard to like, and I mean I see it all the time of like being a producer like or a mix engineer, like it's hard to give like your baby up. It's hard to give it over to somebody else for interpretation or judgment, you know? Not that it's mean, you know, but like sometimes you don't want to be perceived. And I think that was the thing I struggled with for a while. And definitely getting over that hump has definitely been uh, awesome. And I don't know, I feel like I just work with a lot of people now and I've learned how to collaborate. And I didn't like to do it at first and didn't really like playing, like I didn't like jamming with people and like, but I think I just kind of opened up my brain and like let them do what they think they should do. And then like I do a fair amount of production projects now where I'm not even touching anything. I'm just like recording it and I'm making some choices and everybody's playing everything else, you know? Just a hard thing. Like I did my first like my first record like that with this band called the Greeting Committee last summer, and it comes out the record probably comes out in like 3 months maybe, sometime this summer. But like that was entirely an experience of I'm not really playing anything. I'm just like recording it, making observations, and that's really hard for me. Is to like not play on it and not like because I'm always like, oh, I would do this differently. And I think the beauty of having other people's fingerprints on it is that it's not just all me. You know, like yeah, I think that's was hard to get out of the box for that for a while, and now I've just learned about how like awesome that is, and uh, I don't know, tying it back in with like I don't know, creative sense of like thinking that you can do it all. Nobody can nobody can do it all. You like to hear like the crazy prophetic stories of this artist recording everything, mixing everything, mastering it, like writing everything. Like but I feel like it's boring. You know? Like
Yeah.
I think it's really cool. There are so many artists that do that and I love all their stuff, you know? But I feel like you can hear more enjoyment and more exploration when you reach out to others and give up your baby. You know, like let it go. Like I think that's just a hard thing for artists to do in general is like let other people touch their work. Um, so yeah, I think that's kind of like my strength and weakness thing that I'm still learning, you know, and I guess maybe another weakness as an artist, just like overall, is a weakness of comparison, because we are in a very competitive town, competitive place, and people would like to say it's not, but like it is.
It's all unspoken.
Yeah, it's all unspoken. Nobody would ever say that.
Right.
I don't think I've been the first person to say it either, but like it's competitive, you know? Like, and you have to learn to take things not personally. You have to like learn that. I think my biggest weakness that I've learned to flip on its head is like, comparison is the thief of joy, as they say, you know? And like once you stop doing the me versus somebody else thing, you have so much more appreciation for what they do, you know? Nobody's like being competitive in music is a good thing as well, you know? Like I'm a very competitive person. I'm very inspired. Like it goes hand in hand, you know, of like someone made something that's awesome and I'm like, holy shit, I have to step up my game. Like that's inspiring to me. The second that you flip it and you're like comparing what you've accomplished and what they've accomplished, if you've done more, if they've done less, if like you've done less and they've done more, it's very hard to like, especially just like with social media and all that, is like you're always seeing like the coolest shit from everybody, you know? Like
only the best sides.
Yeah, only the best sides of everybody, and like appreciate people who are like honest and a little more carefree on social media. And I mean that's how I aim to be one day, still trying to get past all the 2010s Instagram feeling of like, oh, I gotta post and I gotta get likes and I gotta get people to comment, I gotta get people to see this thing. I'm at the point now of like, if I'm gonna release a song, I'm gonna release a song. If people like it, then that is so awesome. And 5 people like it, then that is 5 more people who like my music. You know? Very like, you have to see it like that. And like, I don't know, I feel like if you're comparing yourself too much, just like, I don't know, like I've learned this, I've seen it happen to people, just like if you talk shit and compare and do this, or even like talk down on yourself, like it doesn't look good all around, you know? Like you need to be like so supportive, and so many people around me that are so incredible and so supportive of them, so supportive of what they do. It's just like a big maturity thing of like respecting people and letting them drive you to be inspired, and not looking inwards on something that they've accomplished that you haven't, because that makes no sense, you know? Like I'm sure we both have things in our life where, oh, I wish I could just do this thing, I wish I could be like that, you know? I wish I could play this show or have this piece of gear, or like do this one certain thing, but like you have your own timeline for that. Like you have to be so patient. Like patience is a virtue, is what my grandma said. And like I think it's very important to realize that somebody else's timeline is not your timeline. Like it doesn't make sense to compare, and that's something I have to just like remind myself all the time, and not get like so in my head about it. And like I don't know, you like see artists like Bon Iver, who, what is he, like 40 now?
Who knows?
Justin Vernon is probably 40 or something like that, or around that age. He didn't get really, really popular until like 8 years ago, probably like 20, somewhere, or maybe within the last decade.
Probably maybe 2011, 2012.
Yeah, probably something like that. Like, but even after he put out his first couple records, like they weren't like huge, and then like, you know, he has songs with Taylor Swift and like does crazy features and goes on crazy tours, and like, I don't know, you see so many people who are like just late bloomers that like really shows you that, especially being in a town, that so many young people who do music and they're going to be very successful people, and there are going to be people who are not as successful, and you just have to know that your path is very different than other people's. And like, man, someone could have like get a record deal or something like that and have a song blow up, and then like, I don't know, it's not what they want, or it's like their career doesn't last or whatever. And then you can see people like Justin Vernon who like have a very lengthy career, and they'll probably do it for as long as they can.
Right.
And they like waited and waited. Like, it's not like he didn't do music or didn't put out music until like, I mean, like, he did the Bon Iver stuff like, I guess close to the end of the 2000s, like 2010s. That's when it, like, really
2009, 2010.
yeah, like, started to be a thing. But like, at that point, like, he'd already been making music, had been in bands. Like, his band broke up, and he was like depressed and like oh god, like, I'm gonna make music now. And then at like an older age for like beginning, you know. So I think, yeah.
Nice. Yeah. I didn't mean to cut you off there. I was just gonna ask, so how long have you been in Nashville now?
I've been in Nashville for 4 years.
And you said Belmont is what initially brought you here?
Yeah, I think I've been here for 4.5 years. I guess, I mean, I've been living here for, maybe I've been here since, yeah, oh my god. I've been here since 2019, so it's 5.
Nice. And
that's crazy. I had not thought about that really. Been living here for like 3.5, like living here, like residing here, not going back home to live at home and all that. But yeah.
What would you say is something you've learned living here?
Patience. Definitely. Just, and especially because everybody does what you want to do here. You know, there are 600 billion producers here. Like, just making sure that you're not like, making sure that you're open to the fact that there are other people here. You know, that, especially like if you come from a small school where you were the best guitarist, you know, and you come to Nashville and you're like suddenly like good, and you're not great, you know? Or, I don't know, it's like kind of like being like, if you're in student government and you're like a great leader, and then you're trying to go be in Congress, and it's like, wow, this is a lot harder than I like thought. It's just like
that realization.
Yeah, you gotta work hard. It's like, I got here and I was like, I started as a commercial drums major at Belmont, and I was like, there are so many better drummers than I am. Like, and I think I'm good. Like, I think I'm great, but like, there are kids out here that are just incredible, you know? And I think that was so humbling and so like awesome, but it only encouraged learning for me, you know? Like, I didn't know how to produce really when I got out here. I didn't start taking it seriously until 2021 or 2020 or something like that, you know? Like, and I didn't start doing it as like a full-time job until like a year and a half ago, probably. I just finished, like, 2023 was my first calendar year just doing this as a job. And like, it is definitely like it's a grind. You have to learn how to do things. You have to learn how to interact with people, and like, not everybody's going to be your cup of tea,
right?
You know, but sometimes you can still work with those type of people. You know, it's not like they're, I think especially after like if you come from a smaller place, realize that you're like, at least I still thought I was good, but I got to Nashville and I was like, all right, I don't know as much as I thought I knew, you know, like, and that's such a humbling and great spot to be in. You know,
so you can grow.
You can grow so much, and like, I don't know, it's important to like learn and like just like hammer it out. And like, I don't know, like I started making music on a laptop with like a little small interface, and I had a guitar and a 1/4 inch cable and a $70 mic, and like now I have what I can call like a functioning home studio. You know, like it's such a interesting thing to get into, but it is such a grind. It's such a, you have to be open to being critiqued. You should be open to learning new things and like doing the things that you don't want to do. Like I didn't want to work jobs when I lived here. I just wanted to do music, but I had to like work in like food service so I could like make money to have time to like part-time produce, you know, and like still do school. Like it's just like, I don't know, got to manage every single thing.
Yeah.
And that was definitely a challenge, and definitely something I really feel like I worked out.
Do you have a favorite venue here?
I love the Blue Room.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, Blue Room is awesome. Shout out everybody over there. I played my first headline there over the summer. That was really fun. I love Brooklyn Bowl. That's such a thing of like, oh, I can't play that right now, obviously, but I love Brooklyn Bowl. I honestly like Bridgestone too.
I love
Hate me.
Yeah.
Like
I love
Bridgestone is awesome. I've had nothing but great experiences at Bridgestone.
Me too.
Like
yeah.
for sports, for concerts, like it's just so much fun. Been to Preds games, like I don't know, I love Bridgestone. It's fun, it's huge. It's a little much if you're not ready for it. If you're just like
the roar of the crowd.
I know. Yeah, exactly. I just love
I love big shows.
Yeah, like I saw Travis Scott at Bridgestone a couple months ago.
Really?
And that show was like unbelievable. That was like, it was sold out as well. And crazy show. There so many people there, and like I don't know. It was like the whole place was like moving. It was like thus far in his tour, like I mean, I think the tour was already done, but like he played like a week or so of tour, and Nashville was like the loudest crowd that he had so far in that tour. Yeah, that's what he said. And he played this song Fiend like 8 times in a row, and it was awesome. It was so crazy. And I don't know, I just love Bridgestone. I love Blue Room. Used to love like, I mean, they're bringing it back now, but like the Cannery Row, Cannery Ballroom area. Yeah, I think they're called Lounge. Yeah, Mercy Lounge, High Watt. They're calling it a whole different thing now, but I'm trying to go to a show there sometime soon.
Nice. Do you have a favorite food or restaurant? Your restaurants here? Said Mitchell Deli earlier.
I did go to Mitchell this morning. Mitchell is so good. I love Nomzilla. It's an East.
Oh yeah, I love Nomzilla.
Or like 210 Jack is another great, but they're kind of the same thing, but 210 Jack is a little more expensive. Redhead Stranger or like Moss Tacos. Great place. I went to Beehive for the first time.
That's fun. That's a good place.
Yeah. It was so good. I'm not a vegetarian or anything, but
I like how it tricks you into thinking you're.
Oh yeah, I got like it really does. I got like a buffalo tofu kale Caesar salad or something like that. It was so good, and I'll definitely be going back there more. I love Elegy. It's like a coffee shop here, and they have like good breakfast food too. It's just like right next to my house. I can just roll out of bed and go.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, what is some advice you'd give to someone who's going to move here and do art or music?
I would probably say like listen to the people around you, especially the people who are older, because they definitely know way more than you do. And I've been lucky to have some older people in my life who do live here, who've kind of showed me how things are and how to expect things. And I don't know. I just think there's nothing that you can't do if you put your mind to it. I think that if you want to be a producer, then you could be a producer. If you want to be a basketball player, you could be a basketball player. I just think that finding a good balance of like nose to the grindstone, head down, and also like taking time to like look around and like not be a hermit, because I definitely was a hermit for a while, and I've had periods of like hanging out with a ton of people, hanging out with like huge friend groups, and then like hanging out with like two people and like staying in my room and like working on music for months, and then realizing that I didn't see anybody for a long time. So definitely get out and do stuff that's not art. Make friends, like make caring friends, make people who are, or make friends with people who you have a good gut feeling about, that will be truthful and honest with you. And yeah, I don't know, just like the world is not inherently evil, but you just gotta watch your back, just like a little bit. And I think everybody tries to operate with love, and I think that's how we all should, and I think that's how we all do. But just making sure you surround yourself with the right people, because right people for you might not be the right people for your best friend.
That's true.
That's what I've had to learn. I don't have to be friends with people that if I don't want to be friends with them.
Exactly.
And I love a lot of people, and I'm friends with a lot of people. And this is my biggest one. Don't come to a city trying to do music and art and think about the question like, what's in it for me? I think that's my biggest thing, is like, if you operate on that mindset, then everything is down the drain. Yeah. There's no point in doing that. And like, I don't know, just like, not that networking is bad, but like, make genuine connections, like develop a friendship before you ask them for something, or maybe just don't ask them for something. Like if you want to be friends with someone because you think they might do something for you, don't do it. That's like such a weird backwards way of like being an honest and friendly person, Yeah. Nobody likes to like become friends with someone and then they're just asked like, oh, can you do me this favor? Like, oh, can you do this thing for me? Or like making friendships on the basis of like, what are you gonna do for me and what will I do for you? Right. It doesn't make sense in the long run for me. Like,
always seek to bring value to others.
Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know, my parents always taught me to put like others first and yourself second, I try my best to operate like that. Sometimes you get in your little zones and you become selfish and you can't see it, and then you get out of the season of life that you're in, and then you're like, oh, I was a little like too inwards and too like focusing on myself, and I need to redistribute that into other people,
Nice. So reflecting back on when you first started as an artist, what is one of the biggest challenges you've had to overcome, and how did you get through it?
Which challenges as an artist? I think it kind of goes back into like what we were talking about earlier, of like songwriting and all that, because I feel like I got pushed into being an artist by my friends, which I love and I'm so grateful for, and I didn't like the first song that I released was the first song that I finished writing, and that was like really hard thing for me to be thrown into artistry and not really know what I'm doing. And I got to listen a lot, and I went to a lot of shows, listened to a lot of people's songs, and like learned from a lot of my friends on how to write songs and like what makes a good song good. What can you do to venture off of the path of like what everybody else does while still being like understandable and all that. And I think that's like something that I'm still learning is like I feel like I write good songs, but I feel like I don't write the best songs in the world, like I'm always trying to get better at that, and I think living life is just the way to fix that problem. Like it's just like can't write about something that you can't write something very, very good if you haven't lived a life before that. Like that's why it's good to go outside and write a song about nature for all I care.
Right.
You can write a song about why your car doesn't work while you're trying to go to work. Like I feel like that you just have to live some life, and you have to go through some sort of thing. Not saying that you have to be like the troubled artist that's like sad and lonely, but like everybody goes through something. No matter how happy you are, you have to kind of like learn. And like I don't know, I learned from my family, and like feel like just being able to listen to others is how like you're always collecting stuff for inspiration and for your art just by living your life. And like what people talk to you about like maybe makes you think about something different on the way that you're approaching, like how they could be talking about something totally different. You could be like, oh my gosh, maybe like these words shouldn't be that, it should be this thing. Or like maybe I was thinking about this all wrong. Like I think you need to have perspective, and that like having more perspectives and reaching out a little bit more has definitely helped me as an artist, of starting at a place where I wasn't confident and didn't really know what I was doing, but somehow people enjoyed it, of like kind of having the imposter syndrome thing.
Yeah.
And like learning that like everybody has imposter syndrome. Like
Right.
Huge artists have it. They play sold out stadiums and they're like, why do people listen to me? Why? Like, I feel like that's just like a thing you have to address from inside, and like from having good relationships and
Trust in yourself.
yeah, totally. Like trusting yourself is a huge thing. Is like I don't know, just getting yourself over the hump of like letting yourself feel something. And I don't know, I have it all the time. I'm like, oh, I'm a shitty songwriter. I'm so bad. Like I'm never gonna make music again. And then letting myself feel it, and then being like, all right, I'm ready to make music again. Like I'm ready to do it. I acknowledged it. Let's move on.
Nice. So, what would you say is your biggest personal growth from last year to this year?
So my biggest personal growth is probably regarding what I guess I call, or like what my partner calls like the let them mindset, of like something is doing something that upsets you, or not the way that you would do it. Is like let them like I think protecting your peace is a huge thing, and it's not letting things like bother you as much as you think that they should. You're allowed to feel a certain emotion, You totally are. But working through it and I don't know, accepting that, like finding forgiveness for people and finding forgiveness for yourself. And like, I just think I've gotten better in this past year as a person for like, there have been people who I've had like upset, or there have been people who I've been very, very close with and have gotten even closer. And like those ebbs and flows are important to just internalize and like reflect on. And yeah, I don't know. I think it's just like having, oh, my stomach's rumbling like crazy. But I think it's just like not seeing the evil in things and seeing like a light in everybody, and especially of situations that you are not comfortable in, is finding like a way to get yourself to push forward. Because I've been in like a ton of situations in the past year where it's like, I don't want to do this thing, but I'm just gonna work hard and like get myself through it. Or like comes with friendships, relationships, and all of that, of just like realizing what matters to you and holding on to that. And yeah, just like protecting your peace is a huge thing, of like not letting so much bother you. And it's a lot easier said than done.
Right, you can have the opinion to hold no opinion.
Right. I think that is like something I try to do a lot. I'm a very opinionated person, you know, but like I think it's sometimes better to listen and like think before you speak.
Definitely.
It's like a huge thing. Like for myself, my stomach is rumbling again. But yeah, dude.
Okay, I've got just a few more questions. How can people support you as an artist?
You can listen to my music, buy stuff on Bandcamp. I think I have shirts up on the interwebs somewhere. I don't know, just spending time with my music if you enjoy it, and sharing it with people. They don't like it, then that's okay. You know, like,
Right.
And if they do, that's awesome for me. I just like hope that I reach someone with my music. If it's just one person, then that's a success for me. You know, like of course you'd like millions of fans and this crazy thing, but like I don't know. At the end of the day, it's just like I like to have stuff of mine shared when I don't know it's shared. Like I think it's just fun, and like you can support me by listening to the people that I've like produced for, mixed for, or my friends. Like it's another way to support me. Like support my friends, support my friends' art. You know,
Yeah.
it's all interconnected in some way. You know.
How do you like to consume media? Do you have favorite things on YouTube you like to watch?
My favorites. I love YouTube for one. I watch a ton of random music videos, but I do watch a ton of NBA highlights. I watch so many like top 10 game endings in NBA history, or like crazy like long distance 3-pointers, but they just keep on getting longer. I mean, I love watching people play video games. I've always loved that. Watching playthroughs, especially like horror games. I'm a big horror guy, but I get scared to play horror games because I feel so into the world and I can't get out of it.
What are some horror movies you like?
Oh, Hereditary is my favorite movie of all time.
Wow,
that's number one.
That is such an intense movie.
Yeah, it is very intense. I just think it's an amazing piece of work. There's this movie called Martyrs.
Oh my god, dude, that is so fucking intense.
Yeah, that's like I guess a favorite horror movie of
Dude,
Well, one of them.
I haven't watched it, but I know all about it.
Dude, you should watch it. It's not as bad as you would think. People are making some much worse things out there. And Martyrs actually has a storyline and like an arc. I've been into I watched Inland Empire, which is this David Lynch film from the early 2000s, late 90s, something like that. Crazy movie. I love horror movies. I'll watch anything, honestly. I'll watch like the big, like huge high budget ones that like The Conjuring, or like new ones like Talk to Me, or the ones that are just playing in movies. But me and my friend Billy like to go find like
The
niche
core.
niche stuff.
Like Cannibal Holocaust.
Dude, I haven't seen that. I think Billy's seen it though.
Man, Martyrs.
Yeah,
Martyrs. I watched the trailer and I was like,
it's a rough one. We just like to find like, I've been into like foreign movies. We watched. Trying to remember what it's called. It was this movie, like this foreign movie about a serial killer shot. It was like in the 80s or 90s, and they shot it like with like snorri cam and like really really high like camera angles. Oh my gosh, it's like called like, oh, it's called Angst. That's what it is. Weird movie. I didn't really like it that much, but it was really interesting. We just try to find what freaks people out, and I just found another list that
maybe I will watch Martyrs. I don't know.
I think it's great. It has a great story, and the ending is crazy, and it's definitely like not for the faint of heart. I was literally about to say it. Not for the faint of heart. Like, if
have you ever seen Wolf Creek?
No.
That's a pretty good horror movie.
Okay.
I've been watching those lately. It's about an Australian serial killer who takes out these backpackers. It's kind of like Hostel mixed.
Oh my god, Hostel
mixed with some other stuff, but it's from like 2005. So.
Whoa! Yeah, I watched Hostel like a month or so ago. I think it was interesting.
This guy plays a serial killer extremely well, and there's like 3 of them, and there's a show.
Have you seen?
It's based off of true.
Oh, great!
True serial killers.
Have you seen The Strangers?
Yeah, The Masks.
Yeah. They're making a reboot series now.
Man,
like a trilogy that comes out movie. Like, I think it comes out this year or like 2025. I think they're going to start like rolling them out, but I think they filmed all of them, if I'm not mistaken. But that movie, I watched that with Billy like a couple months ago, like the middle of the night, no lights on. That was like
That's with A or Arwen.
Yeah.
Whatever her name is.
Yeah.
Steven Tyler's daughter.
Oh,
Liv Tyler.
Liv Tyler. Yeah.
So, is there anything you would like to add that I might not have asked you about?
I don't think so. I think we hit a lot.
Okay.
I feel like it's pretty great. I don't think there's anything else.
Awesome. Well, here's the last question. What is something absurd you love or do?
Hot sauce on everything. I want to be on hot ones so bad. That is like, that's not absurd, but I'm a big sauce guy. I will put anything spice or seasoning.
Put on your ice cream?
Not on my ice cream. I think that's a little weird, but what else do I do? That is weird. I mean, people say I put ketchup on too much stuff, but I'll eat it like a champ. So I'm just a big seasoning, big sauce guy, big salt guy. I love salt.
Love salt.
Salt is just good. It's not best for you, but I love it. I just love a lot of hot sauces. I'll always be going for a hot sauce at any restaurant, or maybe like a barbecue sauce thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, just want to make sure. Okay, cool.
Yeah, dude. But
dude, well,
yeah.
Thank you for coming over and doing this.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.